state of the Knicks address real quick. Barring anything stupid, the Knicks should take a 7-game winning streak into Detroit on the weekend. Big game coming up, or not? I'm trying to win on Friday. Big Friday night game coming up against Detroit. Knicks play Washington tonight. Like I said, barring anything stupid, the Knicks should have a 7-game winning streak. And apparently, the reports are that the Knicks, and again, this is 10 toes down. My reading of the situation is what I've said all along. The Knicks really should not be chasing Giannis. When I say chasing Giannis, I mean not to actually inquire on him, knock the door, but I mean not to like break the house down. Trade the house, trade everything for him. And with that being said, the Knicks, again, the idea. I think this is what a lot of people need to understand. To say the Knicks are not contenders, the Knicks are a contender. I mean, unless you think OKC is a knockdown, drag them out, lock to win the repeat, you cannot convince me that any team is considerably better than the Knicks. Again, on the 7-game winning streak, on the 6-game winning streak so far, Knicks have played 3 winning teams. If you include the Lakers, who are terrible. I'm gonna keep reminding you that. And we played 3 losing teams. The defense is picked up, because you can say the teams are losing, but teams still score 110 points a game easily in this effort. So even bad teams can get to 100. The Knicks now, it's due to pace. It's a lot due to, some of it's due to pace, some of it's due to actually playing great defense. Being methodical. Again, there's a lot of bad things I've seen during the winning streak. Dumb turnovers, careless possessions, lulls where you go on a 12-0 run and you give it right back, or 8-0 run. Next thing you know, you give up a 12-0 run. And those are the things that I want to see the Knicks work out. Again, anybody knows me, I'm a big Giannis fan. Big Giannis fan. I would love to see him in the Knicks. But I also am a Knicks fan first. And I know, look, Knicks don't have a lot in terms of draft picks, capital, because of the Mikal Bridges trade, which, again, I don't think Milwaukee would want our picks anyway, because they know if you trade Giannis to the Knicks, over the next 4 or 5 years, the Knicks are going to be an elite team. The reason why Giannis wants to trade is because, and I've said this, he sees the writing on the wall. Like, it gets no better from Milwaukee. They're not going, getting Miles Turner did not move the needle. They tried with Dame. It just wasn't a good fit. Defense is no longer what it was. Milwaukee's just an average, mediocre team at best. And, Giannis is done giving his prime to the situation. And I understand it. I really do. I'm going to come up on this frozen lake in a minute. Frozen reservoir. But, yeah. With Giannis being, in that situation with the waning, the last few years of his prime, you would think at 35, 36, you start to see a fall off. So the next 3-4 years, Giannis is really considering where he wants to be. His contract situation is he's signed for next year and then has an opt-out after that. Same as Karl-Anthony Towns, and that's pretty much the hold-up. I mean, I don't think the Bucks genuinely want Karl-Anthony Towns, especially at that money. He's making almost dollar for dollar, as I said many times, with Giannis, and they don't consider him their equal talent, which I don't either. But, and this is the thing, the Carnegie Town situation is, well, again, shout out to AOH, but I pulled up on their stream, they were telling me how like, I really wish I get the chance to really kick it with guys, because if you know me, you would know I'm not a Carnegie Towns fan. See, this is the deal, right? Carnegie Towns is on my team, so I have to, not that I'm being biased because it's on my team. I'm being very honest in my assessment of what they are, what he is. He's a good rebounder, a talented offensive scorer. As I said, not as soft as you guys, as people like to say he is, but also not as good as his numbers would indicate. And it's very hard to get, like, you have to, basically, Carnegie Towns has to get plays drawn up for him. You know what I'm saying? He has to get plays drawn up for him. And that's the difference. That's the challenge of having a Karl Anthony Towns on your team, is you have to run offense for him. It doesn't really come that natural, So, like, this is the problem with the offense being less than methodical, being more of a reactionary, spray the ball around type of offense. Carnegie Towns is not a catch and go guy. He's not a catch and score guy. So he does have his abilities to play within the offense, but it's not really his thing. It's like, he's not a catch and shoot guy. I mean, he's not a, he can pass, but he's not a guy that you want to have as a playmaker. And really, you just kind of hope that he can have a hot enough night to do it. At the two-man game, it's pretty much non-existent with him and Brunson. Again, I get how him being on the court, spacing-wise, helps everybody else out. That does, but it's so hard to get. You have to really stop the ball movement to get him shots, and that's the problem. On top of that, the dumb fouls, and that's the challenge. I knew this 4 years ago when I knew that the Knicks, if they traded Randall, if they ever got to the point they had traded Randall, Carnegie Towns was the only trade that made sense. And I knew exactly how he would benefit the offense. Like, yes, he benefits the offense in stretching it out more. Like, his ability to shoot. And again, his shooting has been about mid this year. Like, I want to see this guy back closer to 40%. Giannis changes things up, right? As he's a dive to the basket type of guy. It's also a challenge to put him with Jalen Brunson. And it's like, if you started doing, okay, we could play the spray 3 offense with Jalen Brunson, with Giannis, it actually probably would benefit a lot, even though he's not a 3-point shooter. But he can create a lot of 3-point shots. The gravity that he'll take, it's almost like they're inverted kind of players. But both of them love to go to the basket. One goes to the basket to draw gravity. The other one goes to the basket to go one-on-one. But where Karl Anthony Towns has the advantage is he's a superior jump shooter. Now, again, Karl Anthony Towns, like, if he had a mid-range game, like, that's the difference. Embiid can hit that shot from wherever. It's almost like, Embiid and him are very similar. Embiid's bigger, stronger, a little bit more nimble, but Embiid can hit shots all over the court. But Karl Anthony Towns, really is just a 3 or in the lane type. He's a 3-and-D big man, which is just, it's just weird. It's just the way they were taught. and none of them were taught to, hey, figure out how to stop and pop. Figure out, I'm saying, these guys are not true scorers. When I sat there and said Melo one of the great scorers of all time, y'all don't get it. People don't get it. They come up with stats. Well, I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna look at the game, and I'm gonna see stats. As I always say, and I'm gonna see stats to figure out what I'm saying. Karl-Anthony Towns has no mid-range. I just really discovered that last year as I was looking up mid-range stats. And then it's funny because I look at the stats and see, oh wow, yeah, this guy really. You would think he has a decent mid-range game. No, he doesn't. If he's either shooting threes or getting to the basket or posting up, that's the only way he gets. If he was able to score different ways, if he was able to use bankers and shit like that, you know, pull up floaters and shit like. No, he's either gonna take his man one-on-one, post him up, or pop out and shoot threes. I'm telling you, it's crazy. But knowing that about Karl-Anthony Towns, that's pretty much the difference, you know, in the two players. And like I said, it leads to struggles on how you actually build a team around it. It really does. It's a challenge. But it's not the worst thing in the world because, again, the guy's uber talented. So you got to work with it. So when I defend Karl-Anthony Towns, I understand if he's going to be a Knick, we have to bring out the best in what he brings. We have to understand who he is and bring out the best in what he brings. I don't think he's soft. I think he can handle contact well. And I think he's a great offensive rebounder, a great defensive rebounder. He's becoming a better offensive rebounder. Watching Mitch out there track the ball down is actually helping him. I mean, he got back-breaking offensive rebounds against the Lakers the other night. And again, I'm happy to beat the Lakers because boy knows I'm a critic of that team, and I just hate how fraudulent, you know, all that favorable calling gets them in games that they should get blown out half the time. But you know. So with that being said, you know, right now the Knicks, I'm just trying to find a mix. The Knicks really need to get rid of Yabusele. Unfortunately, he just don't got it. He just don't got it. Make sure to re-sign Precious Achiuwa. Shout out to Landry Shamet. Hopefully, and I'm telling you, he really brings a lot to the team. He really brings a lot to the team. But Knicks can really Yabusele. Unfortunately, and I like Jordan Clarkson. I like the way he's played. He's out of the rotation right now. He'll be used when necessary, but Landry Shamet is beating him out because Landry Shamet is a better shot maker. He's better at working off these guys. Jordan Clarkson is a one-on-one guy. And really talented. I mean, he's better suited probably going to a bad team and playing a six-man role again. I am happy we signed him. I still think he might have a role to come on the team, so I'm not saying trade him. But if you can get something for him, go ahead and do that. Kolek playing better. I like what I see out of Diawara. Get him 10, 15 minutes. Get him in the rotation somehow. If you got to shave Mikal and Hart's minutes, do that. Let him back up at OG Anunoby. We need size in that position. I think that's kind of where the rotation is going. I think Mike Brown. Again, I was never down on Mike Brown. I knew he needed to adjust. I said this in my last video. You know, I'm not one of these, again, I don't swear. That's why I don't do a video after every little win or loss. You know, I could. But I don't want to just keep repeating myself. So, you know, I was never down on Mike Brown. I never act like the guy's the next Pat Riley. He's a good coach. You know, the Knicks right now, what are we, 31-18? was saying when we were 25 and 18, the goal is get the 30th win before your 20th loss. And the Knicks did that. They have not lost since. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the Knicks. Well, we got a litmus test coming up. We play against some, play against Detroit, Philly, Cleveland. We get Denver in there. We get the Lakers again next month. The OKC games are coming up. So we got to play against the Houston, I'm sure. A lot of tough games on the schedule left. But tonight should be an easy one. As soon as I say that, we mess around and lose the game because this is the NBA. But the Knicks are right in the ship. I said what I wait for flows. I don't just react every time, every game, every app. I understand that's probably better for the YouTube formula, but again, I'm gonna stick to my 10 toes out because there's always lots of subjects to talk about. But I'm gonna stick to my 10 toes down mantra where you won't see roast sway all over the place. I just won't. You won't see for those that do. You know what I'm saying? I learned to keep it. I don't go too far to the left, too far to the right. Knicks will be alright. As far as around the league, I'll get to some of the around the league stuff in another video. But I'm a Knicks fan signing out right now.